Hey, how's it going? It's Clover here. So I'm back with another addition to my keto cooking series. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a whole chicken in the oven with a garlic loaded cauliflower mash. And then the leftovers, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious chicken salad that you can keep in the fridge and munch on for a few days. Anyways, I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet with this one. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so these are the ingredients that you're going to need for today's recipe. You're going to need the whole chicken, and all the insides have been removed. It's been rinsed thoroughly, and I patted it down dry. That's very important. You want to make sure that it is not completely soaked on the outside of the bird. You want it to cook just right, and you want that skin to get a little bit crispy. Next, we have some stalks of celery. We have some green onion. A few cloves of garlic. The reason why I have some big ones in there is because this is a bigger chicken than I typically get. Usually I make my whole chicken in my Dutch oven. Unfortunately, this bird is actually a bit too big for my Dutch oven, so I'm having to improvise and use a casserole dish instead. And then you're going to want a quarter lemon. And then you want some oil. You don't have to use coconut oil. You can also use butter. I just have a preference towards using coconut oil. And then pink Himalayan salt. You're going to want some black pepper. And then you're going to want some type of seasoning that has like herbs in it, or any kind of Italian seasoning. I chose this. It's like a Tuscan sun herb seasoning. Just to kind of try out something new. And then also you can use any other kind of seasoning. Alright, so first things first, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to salt and pepper the inside of your chicken. Give it plenty of salt. And quite a bit of pepper. Alright, and then the next step after that is you're going to go ahead and start stuffing your bird with the garlic, so that way it gets deep in there. And then next we'll do about half of the lemon. And then the celery and your green onion. And what the celery is going to do is it's going to help it stay moist on the inside. And the green onions just to give it a little bit of extra flavor. And then finish it off by putting the last half of the lemon in. And there you go, your bird has been stuffed. Now, since I'm about to mess with the oil, I need to wash my hands. You know, it's always a very important thing to do is whenever you mess with chicken, you always need to constantly wash your hands before you touch anything that you may use later on. Now, see, when I did the salt and pepper, I just put it on a plate so that way I could just grab it and go back to it because I'm going to use everything that's on this plate. Alright, now that my hands have been washed, I have the coconut oil that I've set out And depending on the size of your bird, since this one is a big one, I'm going to want to use plenty of coconut oil. But like I said before, you don't have to use coconut oil. You can use butter or any other kind of oil that you like. Now, what you're going to want to do at this point is, you see the skin right here? Make sure that you got a pretty good opening underneath this skin. And then just grab a handful of your oil or butter, which it's a lot easier to do with coconut oil. Any kind of other oil, you're not really going to be able to grab a handful. You're more so going to have to just kind of pour it. But this is why I love using coconut oil, is I can just stuff all of this right underneath the skin. As it cooks, it's another thing that's going to help it kind of retain some moisture, is having a lot of that oil be underneath the skin. Alright, so now we've come to the part to where we can season the outside of our bird. We're going to want to start with the salt. Make sure you give it plenty of salt. And since you've put all of the oil or butter underneath your skin, all the seasonings that you put on the outside should pretty much kind of stick to the chicken now. If you put it on the outside, the problem is a lot of that's just going to kind of fall right off. Or if you try to season your bird before messing with the oil or butter, then you're going to end up having a problem there. But make sure you give it plenty of salt on the outside, because some of it will fall off. And then next we're going to want to add more pepper. Then we can add whatever Italian seasoning or herbs that we have available. Alright, so we have our oven has been preheated to 425 degrees, and what we're going to do is stick our bird right in that oven. And we're going to let it cook for about 15 minutes at 425 degrees, and then we're going to come back and we're going to lower the temperature just a tad bit, and we're going to let it cook the remainder of the time on that temperature. So see you in 15 minutes. Alright, so now that it's been 15 minutes, we've lowered the temperature to 350 degrees. And at this point in time, you're going to want to cook your whole chicken for 20 minutes per pound. So since we have a close to a 9-pound chicken, I think it was like 8.88, I'm going to cook it roughly about 3 hours. So I'll check on it periodically. Here in about probably like 30 or 45 minutes, I'm gonna scoop up some of the drippings, you know, the oil and all that stuff that come from the bird itself and end up in the bottom of the pan. And then I'm gonna kind of, you know, pour it on top of the bird just so that way the skin has a little bit of moist and it doesn't overcook, you know, and the bird doesn't get too dry. Alright, so now we're checking on the whole chicken. Gonna kind of moisten the skin a little bit. So you're gonna want to do this about every 30 minutes, you know, just so that way the skin doesn't get too dry and you're perfectly basting your chicken. I do not currently own a baster, but you know, have to use whatever I got to make it work. Alright, so we got our chicken in the oven right now. It's been in there for about 2 hours, so we got probably about like an hour or a little bit under an hour left to go. So I'm going to go ahead and start preparing the loaded cauliflower mashed potatoes. The first thing that you're going to want is the bacon. Then you're going to want plenty of like, you know, pieces of cauliflower. Not necessarily big ass chunks, but doesn't necessarily have to be really fine or small either. Just enough to where it won't be a pain in the ass whenever you're trying to mash it. Green onion, minced garlic, feta cheese, and then sour cream. Alright, so you're going to want to go ahead and turn your stove on pretty decently high and then let it heat up. Alright, as it's heating up, you're going to want to go ahead and toss in your bacon. Start stirring your bacon as it begins to cook. That way you give it the chance to cook evenly, and the end result is some delicious crispy bacon that is just perfect for your loaded cauliflower mash. So it's at this point that we're going to add about 1 spoonful of coconut oil. Once our bacon gets nice and crispy, we're going to go ahead and add the end of the cauliflower. Next, you can go ahead and add in your garlic. Evenly cook out. Basically, really, you just want it to get cooked to where the vegetables start getting soft, so that way you can actually start to mash them. Now you're going to want to season it with some salt. Add your feta cheese crumbles. Mix that in there so that way it'll melt. Once you have the feta mixed in pretty well, you can go ahead and start mashing the cauliflower. Once you have it mashed, you can add your sour cream and just begin to mix it in there. The very last step is to add your chives. And there you have it, loaded cauliflower mash. Alright, now it's time to check on our whole chicken. Oh yeah, just look at that. Just look at how that falls right off. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to make the chicken salad. We've got the leftover chicken. We have the chopped green onions. We have celery. And then we have, I love this stuff, it's called Primal Kitchen Avocado Oil Mayo. Alright, first you're going to want to add your chopped onions to your leftover shredded chicken. After that, you're going to want to go ahead and add in the diced celery as well. Afterwards, you can go ahead and begin to add your mayonnaise. Be sure to add enough that's going to be able to fully cover your chicken and all of the ingredients. Now, you don't have to use the same kind I did, it's just a preference for me. And then you can add in some salt and pepper or any seasonings of your choice. I've made it different ways in the past. There's been times when I put cheese and sriracha. A few times I've added bacon to it. So it really just depends on how you like your chicken salad. Chicken has been seasoned. You can go ahead and begin mixing it. And mix it thoroughly so that way all the mayonnaise is spread evenly throughout. And once you have your chicken salad stirred thoroughly, you can go ahead and transfer it to a container and store it in the fridge. But there you have it, a delicious snack or future meal. Alright, so another video down for the books. Anyways, next time I'm going to be making you a keto-friendly burger with Parmesan zucchini fries. So until then, please hit that like, subscribe button, and enjoy that chicken salad you got in the fridge.